Hello, everyone. Good evening. Please respond in the chat box if you can listen to me. Hello. Uh, can you please respond in the chat box if you can listen to me, guys? Okay. Okay, thank you. Hello, myself Vidhi Kumari from Tech OctaNet Services Private Limited welcomes you again in day 2 of Python development session. Okay, without further delay, let us start our today's session now. All over to you, Harsh.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Amjad, and I will be your Python instructor. Last day we have seen some few methods of list. There are various method of list as shown here. We have append, insert, remove, pop, clear. I will try to demonstrate few methods. But before that, let's do one thing. Which I will need some response from you guys. Okay. I'm going to write some codes here, and you have to predict the output. Suppose, let me know what will be the output of this line. Mhm. Okay, so it will be 8. And what will be the output of this? Oh, sorry, I have 10, 10, 10. What will the output of this? This one. Okay, so it will be something around 0.666. What will be the output of this? Yeah, so this will be 0. Okay, nice. Let me explain these. Guys, everyone who are using VS Code, if you have not installed, then please install this extension. This one, Jupyter, with published by Microsoft with around, I think, 5.8 million downloads. Just install this one. Give me a thumbs up if you have already installed this. Okay, so see, in Python, whenever we create a file, we provide it with the extension py, right? Py extension stands for Python. Okay, but there is one popular IDE for writing Python, and that is not known as Jupyter Notebook. For Jupyter Notebook, the extension for Python file is .ipynb. ipynb is the extension of Python file for Jupyter Notebook. Okay. The benefits of using Jupyter Notebook is that in last class I have to use multiple files to demonstrate multiple functionalities. But while using Jupyter Notebook, you can add multiple code blocks which are separated or maybe linked to each other. It depends on our use. Okay, so let's see what we are going to cover today. Okay, from last class, if anyone have any doubt, then we can discuss it. Any doubt on list or any variable, none or string formattings? Okay, no doubts. Okay, so let's move with some list methods. As we have seen, a list can contain data of multiple data types, a string, a float, a boolean value, anything. Okay, so to add, hashtag is used to add comments in Python. Add, suppose we want to enter one element into list, then we will use append to enter the element at last. So we want to append 12, enter value last. Then it will sort the list, my list dot sort. So by sorting, I mean that, see, okay, see, yeah, so we have a problem here. Let's create, I will explain a little bit. Just first create a list. So by sorting, I mean sort sorting is a part of DSN. Mm, by sorting is a method which is used to arrange a given object. Okay, sorting doesn't only operates on list. Sorting also operates on tuple or dictionary or any other data structure. So by sorting, it is meant that you have to arrange the data structure in ascending order. By default, in ascending order. You can do it in descending order also, but by default, you can do it in ascending order. Okay, sorting function sort it in ascending order. Now, the error just arises right now in this my list, in this variable, in this list variable, is that greater than or smaller than symbol or operator does not operate on two different data types. See what happened. If you are sorting this string, right, you are comparing an integer 1 with an integer 2. The two data which you are comparing are of same data types. Okay, but we cannot compare a integer or a float with string, or we cannot compare a integer or a float with a boolean value. That's why while using sort function on this list, it will throw an error. Okay, okay, now let's see. Yeah, so suppose, just let me know the output of this line. Yeah, just the output of this line. See, append is used to enter the value at the last index. Okay, By using append, we are inserting this list, my list 1, inside this list. Okay, so that was append does. It append the list my list 1 inside my list. Okay, this is the nested list we have seen yesterday. Copy is used to copy the values, copy variables. Okay, now let me know the output of these two lines. Okay, so copy function is used to copy one variable into another. Now we are changing the first element of my list, that is this one will be changed to -1. Okay, but this change doesn't reflect on my list 1. Let's see. See, my list value, first value is changed to -1, and before assignment we have copied the element of my list to my list 2. That's why the value of my list 2 is here. Okay, last time I told you about something known as deep copy, which is used to copy the nested elements. Why we need deep copy? If I would do my list, what will be the value? Suppose -1 and 0, and I will do -100. Now, guys, let me know the output of these two lines. Okay, so as if you have any problem in understanding these things, then you can ask about your problems. I will try to solve them. So, while using you cannot predict the outcome of the nested list. The nested list is copied as it is with its ID. That's why when we are accessing the element of nested list in one list, the output will be reflected to another list also, right? For this purpose, we use deep copy, and deep copy comes in a module which is known as copy. So this is the syntax for importing a module in Python. Okay, importing module in Python. So the syntax will be import module name. Okay. So now we will perform my list is equal to my list copy dot deep copy. Now if we will do this one, won't affect my list to see. The change is reflected in my list which we are performing, but the change is not reflected to my list too. Okay. These are some. Okay, we have showed append, sort, copy. Let's see one more. That is reverse the list. Suppose we perform my list one dot reverse. Okay, so this is the value of my list. Can anyone predict what will be the outcome of only this line, this one? Okay, so it will reverse the list and we will get 3 to 1. Okay, so we have in somewhere I think we have changed the value to minus 100, minus 1, minus 2, minus 10. I think somewhere we have changed the value. Okay, let's leave it. Reverse the contents of the list. Yeah. So this is how different functions operates on list. Let's see about strings. Okay. So first thing is that strings are not mutable in Python. By this line, what I mean is that if we have, see, uh, here, first, the zeroth index, that is the first element of my list, is holding 1, right? But we have changed the value of first index to minus 1, and the value is correctly displayed here. Okay. But what happens in a string if we declare a string and want to access the first element, that is by using index 0, and we want to assign a to it, right? So what we are trying, we are trying to replace this h, sorry, this h with a. Okay, so we are trying to replace this h with a. Now let's see what will happen. So it will throw an error, and string objects are not support item assignments. It means that we cannot change the value of string once it is assigned. By mean cannot change the value, it means that you cannot change this single character. Okay, this single character inside a string. You can change the whole string if you want to. Like, I want to assign it a new value, this one, new value, and there is no problem. See, you cannot change this one particular index inside a string. Okay, so that is, so strings are not mutable in Python. And so that is it. And let's start with list slicing. So there is a reason Python is a very powerful programming language, and we will see right now why. So suppose there is a question. Okay, my list, and we have some values, for example 6. Okay, I only want this much element from this list. In another language, we have to use loops to extract these values from the list, from the array. But in Python, we have something called list slicing. We can use my list. So can anyone please let me know what will be the index of 2? What will be the index of 2? Yeah, so index of 2 is 1, this one is 0, 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I want only this much elements now, what I will do, I will write the index of the starting element and the index of the ending element plus 1. Okay, the index of the ending element plus 1, and it will print only these elements. Okay, so the syntax for slicing is list variable name, list variable name, square brackets, start index, colon, end index plus 1, or we can and jump. And index is excluded. Okay. So what do we mean by jump? Okay. So print my list. We will start from, suppose, let's do a default one and jump each by, suppose we will jump each by 2. See, I didn't fill the index of start index or end index. By default, in Python, by default, it will take 0 and the end index, that is 5. It means the end index is not 5 here. It will take the whole list. Okay. If you don't provide any values, if you don't provide any values in start index or end index, then it will, by default, it will take the whole list. And by 2 we mean that first print the first index is not, sorry, starting index is not declared here, so the starting index will be 0. It will print 0. Then it will jump by 2, 0, 1 and 2. Then the next index which will be printed will be 2, then 4, and then it will jump outside, so the list will end. Okay, let's see the output. See, index 0, index 2, index 4, and then the list ends. Hold on, hold on. Now let me know what will be the output of this one. Just take a guess. So there is no value on start index, no value on end index, and no value on jump. Okay, so it will print the whole list as it is. For default, value of list slicing, it will take each and every element of the list. Okay, yeah, Mangesh. So now let's take my list with values 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. Okay, guys, just let me know when I am using my list again here. So it will redefine a new variable. It means that there are two variables with name my list and my list, or this same variable will be overridden here in this line. So this same variable will be overridden here. Okay, you cannot create multiple variables with same name in same code. Okay, so what happened in this line, we create a list, we provide it with value 1 2 3 4 5 6, but here we are deleting these values and writing the values again with 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. Okay, now there is something known as negative indexing which exists in Python. That is, it will be -5, -4, -3, -2, -1. See, print my list -1. What will the output of this? So it will print 500. Okay, 500. Just take it 1 minute. Okay. So it will print 500. This is, no, not -500. Negative indexing is used to access the list from its ending, and positive indexing is used to access the list from starting point. Okay. Suppose if I will write print and -3, then it will print 300. Okay. Now let's see list slicing with negative numbers. Suppose we will say print my list and -1. Can anyone guess the output of this one? So it will print the list in reverse order. Okay. Now what happened exactly here? Let me know. So what happened that we didn't provide any value for start index, right? So start index is by default is the starting point of list. Okay. And we didn't provide the end index, then end index will be the ending point of list. But we provide jump with value -1. So what jump will do? It will start from the last value and then start iterating in negative order. Okay. Okay, no problem. So let's print my list with values -1, and suppose we are starting from 2. Okay, so what will be the output of this line? Right. See, let me write the positive indexing also. Okay, guys, it will be a little confusing, so please try to understand the concept behind every single line. Okay, so tell me what will be the starting index. It will be 2. Okay, so we are starting printing from 2. Okay, so first value which will be printed for this line is 300, the index 2. Okay, now it considers the jump value is -1, so we are not moving from 2 to 3. We are not moving forward, we will be moving in backward direction. Okay, from 2 we will move to 1, then the value 200 will be printed, then from 1 we will be moved to 0, then the value 100 is printed, and after 0 the list ends. So that's why no value after that. Okay, this is what -1 will do. So based on this, let me know the output of this one. Guys, anyone, just let me know the output of this line. Okay, so it will be printing the starting index is 3. So the print statement will start from 3, then we will jump by -2, then we will reach 1. Okay, now see that here the jumping value is defined as -2. So from 3 we will jump by -2. Okay, by -2 we will reach 1, and then print the value at index 1. And after 1, we if you subtract -2 from 1, we will get -1, which is out of bound for this list. So the value will be 400 and 200. Okay, so guys, if you're facing any problem in list slicing, then let me know, I will repeat. Otherwise we will move forward to another topics. Okay, 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 Mohit, let me know the output of this one. Just tell me the correct output of this one and we will move forward. So the output for this one will produce an error. Okay, Oh, sorry, empty list. See, why an empty list? We will start from 2. Let me change it by 4 as index 4 is the listing value. Index 4 is listing value, and we get okay now. See, we will start printing from index number 2. Okay, the first element on index 2 will be 300, but can we ever reach index 4 by subtracting -1 from 2? We will always move in reverse, I mean backward direction, right? If you we are using -1 in jump, any minus value in jump, so it will end in, it won't produce any list. Okay, because we are starting from 2, then we tell to jump -1, which will be 1, then after that 0, then after that -1 -2, we can't reach 4. Okay, so that's why it will produce a empty list. For using minus jump, always take in mind that start index should be greater than end index, otherwise default. Okay, so this will wait for list slicing. Also, list slicing will be used to copy a particular part of the list. Right, my list dot, so we will take a value, suppose from index 1 to 3, copy, we will my list 1. Which part do you want me to repeat? So this line is used to, here slicing is used to copy a sub part of the list, including index 1 and index 2. Index 3 is not included. Okay, as ending index is always excluded. Okay, so here index 1 is 200 and index 2 is 300. 200 and 300 is copied to my list 1. Okay, so which part do you want me to repeat? Let's jump to loop. We are always going to use only two types of loop, that is for loop and while loop. There are another type of loops also, that is do while in Python. Okay, so first of all, for loop. What will be the syntax for loop? Syntax will be for, without using suppose range, we will get a iterator name in variable, and then semicolon, and then code. Okay, let's see. Suppose I have a my list with values. So for this, there are 10 elements. For accessing each element, either we can use a index. Okay, but suppose there are 10 elements, there may exist a list which have 100 elements, so we cannot access each and every element by using index. Okay, for that we use a loop for items in my list, print items. So this for loop, okay, let me give it a end. Okay, okay. This will be the formatting items in level value. Okay, now it will work. See, item will visit each and every value of my list and it will print the values. Okay, so item is visiting the values of the list. It is not visiting the index. Okay, note this one. If you will print a type of item, let's take a boolean value here. First take a string, empty string, and let's take a boolean value. See, one with class int, two with class int. Then there comes this empty string with class string. Then there comes this boolean value with class boolean. Okay, so items is visiting each and every single element. If you want to encounter the indices of this, so we will use index comma item in. We will use a function known as enumerate my list. We will do this. We have index. See guys. Okay, what is enumerate and list and repeat? See, what do we have here? In this my list, each and every number has its own indices. Okay, 11 till I think the last index will be I think 11. So every number has its indices and its values. Okay, enumerate enumerate will perform some operations on my list and it will return two things. The first thing which will be returned is value index, and the second thing which will be returned is the item present on that particular index. So there may come some scenarios where you have to access the index, also the value present on that index. Okay, so for those scenarios we use enumerate, right? See, value 1 is present on index number 0, value 2 is present on index number 1, empty string is present on index number 2, like this. Okay, so for enumerate, you can say that enumerate unpacks any iterating, just take some symbol, any list and gives index, then value at that index. Okay, uh, for loop. So these type of for loops are known as for each loop. Okay, we are iterating over a certain element, over certain container. Okay, we are iterating over a list here. In this case we are iterating over a list. Okay, you cannot perform an iteration over a integer. See, nothing will be printed here. Okay, let me comment this. It's taking too much space. See, we get an error. Pass multiple iterators in for loop. Okay, so passing multiple iterators, we can see how we can use dictionaries or tuples for passing multiple iterators. Okay, we cannot just simply pass multiple iterators right here. Okay, we can pass it using some other data containers, like there is one data type which is known as zip. We can use zip to pass multiple. Let's see how we can pass multiple things. First, here you cannot iterate over an integer because an integer has only one value, that is 10. For loop can't iterate over an integer. Okay, so for each loop only works over a container which we can iterate, which have indexes. For example, we can say that it can iterate over some containers which have indices with them. Okay, which is that statement is not particularly correct for everything, but for now we can say that it will throw an error. It will throw error. Okay, let's see how we can pass multiple containers. Suppose I have my list one. Maybe let's take init for a comma b in my list, comma my list one. And what do we have? Print a. Then let's use formatting a colon value of second b. Then end with some space. Okay, so this is how. mm, So see, so you can iterate but with some conditions. Can you pass multiple iterators? Like here we are using enumerates. See, here we are trying to iterate over multiple iterators, but it is throwing an error, that is value error. Too many values to unpack. This is what happen if we are trying to use multiple containers to iterate over. Okay, now we are using a special keyword here, that is in. Okay, use it. Yeah, we can use zip. Wait, let me first tell in. So suppose the value of my list, we have a my list, then we'll take one in my list one. Can anyone tell me the output of this? The output, just the output of this line.
Hello? Sorry for the inconvenience. There is some issue at our instructor's end. He's died now.
Yeah, just patch it through. Okay. Okay, guys, the output for A will be true. Let me first comment out this. Okay. Okay, now. Okay, guys, let's see. So the output of this A will be true. Okay. So this in operator, what it does, it finds this value, the value on the left hand side, inside the value on the right hand side. Okay, this is again true for any type of container which is iterable, which you can iterate on. Okay, which contains multiple values, right? There we can use in. Suppose, for example, let's take my string. Okay, and we have a value b in string, in b. Just let me know the output of this line. Just the output of this line. Okay, guys, so the output for this line will be false or type error. So, am I audible, right? I think I am live. Okay, so the output for this line will be false. Okay, but why? See, by mistake, I am using a without single quotes. Okay, so this a is reference to this variable a. Okay, and the type of this a variable is boolean type. The value is true and it is of boolean type, and we are finding a boolean type inside a string. That's why it is producing type error. In string requires left operator operand, not boolean. Okay, we cannot put boolean on the left operator. Okay, we put it inside double quotes or single quotes, anyone. Now let me know the output of this line, print b, the value of b. So the value of b will be true as a is present inside this string, and every value of a string is iterable as each character holds its own index. The index of a is 0, b is 1, oh sorry, a is 0, b is 1, and c is d. Okay, no, the output is not a, when we are comparing two things, it always return either true or false. It will return 1 or 0. Okay, so this will be in true false values. Let's comment out everything. This error one. This also produce error. Multiple values. Okay, let's see the example for this multiple values. One. Suppose if you want to use multiple containers in single for loop. So for suppose value one, value two in we use zip with what do you have my list one. Let me make a length equal. Now we have seen value print value one. Yeah, Mohit. So see, this first one is from list my list, and the second one is from my list one. Okay, it is not quite readable. Let's create some new list. One with values 1, 2, 3, 4. Value two with values 800 and 300. We have 400. Use value one, value two, and let's use some formatting here. F value one, value two. Now, okay. So the one is from first list, the 100 will from second list, then the two is from. So this is how you can zip. Okay. So zip is another type of data type. Okay, like int, float, and list. Zip also is a data type in Python. Okay, it is a class. Now let's see. Tell me what will be the output of this one. And guys, please don't run in your own compiler. Just let me know the output of this one. Use only pen and paper. This for loop. So while using enumerate, it will unpack this zip, and it always produce these values with an index. Okay, we are not receiving here an index. Let's see. So see, okay, so I have implementation. Okay, see. So what enumerate does, it gives you two values. Okay, it gives you two values. The first value enumerate will provide is index, and the second value this enumerate will provide is the zip value. Okay, it is providing you a zip format. Zip format means you will always provided with a tuple. We will see what tuple is. Okay, so when we zip together, we form a new variable where the they form a pair. Okay, 1 and 100 forms a pair. The first two element forms a pair, the second two elements, the third two elements. This is how they form a pair, and this 0 1 2 3 is their index. Okay, when we perform when we perform zip on this value 1 and value 2, it will produce a new container. Okay, list with tuples. We have 1 and 100, we have 2 and 200, we have 3 and 300, and so on. Okay, now what enumerate does, it gives you the index of this first element, that is 0, and it gives you this element, that is 1 comma 100, a tuple. Okay, okay, yeah, 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 right, Mohit. Enumerate is index and zero is tuple, right? So here what we have learned about enumerate, that it unpacks the list and gives the index and then the value. So inside this list, the first value is 1 and 100, that is a tuple, 2 and 200. So that is how this enumerate returns. Now, if you want to separately access these two values, you have to use something. Okay, so if anyone knows what changes we have to do to separately access this 1 and 100, just comment the order. No, see how we can use different values. Suppose we first get the index, then we form a tuple and we get value 1, and then we will get value 2 in enumerate, print, formatting, index, index, index. Let me add dictionary. Yeah. So, and we have values with value 1 and with value 2. Yeah. So let's see what it will print. Oh, sorry. Equal to sign. See, index 0, and we are separately accessing this value 1 and this value 100. There is no tuple. Okay, we have also unpacked this tuple and access the value 1 and value 100. See, I have used small brackets here. Okay, these small brackets are representing the tuple inside this zip. This tuple is represented by these values, and if the first value will always go to value 1 and the second values always go to value 2. Okay, so just quickly let me know what will the value of this. Just let me know what will be the output of print A and print B. Okay, guys. Yeah, not comma. Okay, let me provide a print statement here. Not comma. The first value will go to the A. The second value will go to B. This 1 and 11. This same concept we will use to unpack a list. Suppose this list has 4 elements. Okay, so we are using A1, A2, A3, and A4. We will use val1 print A3. Just let me know the output of this A3. Let's talk about this one. So the output of A3 is 3. As we are assigning list to these different variables, 1 will go to A1, 2 will go to A2, and 3 will go to A3. Okay, so let's move to what do we have next, that is tuples. Similarly, as strings, tuples are not mutable. Not mutable means there are no append functions for tuple. For example, my tuple. This is how we can create a tuple with values. Okay. Now, not mutable means we cannot add or we cannot delete a value from this tuple. Okay. So if you cannot delete the value from tuple, it means you don't have access to dot remove method. Tuple cannot use dot remove. Tuple cannot use dot append because we cannot add any values to tuple. So how why we use tuple? So tuple is used for some sensitive data, right? If you suppose you want to, okay, suppose you want to store some marks of students, okay, so you don't want those marks to be updated now and then. So for that you use tuples. Now no one have the access to update these marks. For example, let's do this. For tuple we are accessing the value 100 index 0. We'll assigning it with suppose 89. See, it will throw an error. Tuple object does not support item assignment, similar as string. Okay, tuples are not mutable, so you cannot update tuple. Print my tuple. Okay. So list are represented with square brackets, tuple are represented with small brackets. Okay, now tuple, let's take a value 1. So this one is not a tuple. If you are using a tuple to store a single value, right? For using, if you are using to store a single value in tuple, my tuple, my tuple. So if you are trying to save a single value in tuple, it will be saved as int type. It is of type int. If you put just a simple comma here, now it will be of type tuple. So this is how you can save a single value in tuple. Okay. You can create an empty tuple like this one, or you can create an empty tuple like this one. Okay, both are valid syntax. Suppose I want to add something in tuple. At this time my tuple is an empty tuple. I want to add just a single element into my tuple. It will again throw an error as it is not mutable. If you have declared a tuple with empty values, then you cannot put any values inside those tuples, right? Okay, suppose professor made mistakes and it has put like 40 marks for you and 50. Now you have to update these marks to suppose 84. How will we do that? We will convert it to a list. This is how a tuple will be converted to a list. Okay, now this will be of index. Suppose first let's print it. See, now we have a list. Okay, and list is mutable. We can change this 40 to 84. Index 1 and 84. Now let's again print this one. See, the value of 40 is updated to 44. Now we have to again change this list to tuple. For that, we again use the conversion tuple and converted list. Now let's print the marks. See, the value of tuple is updated to 84 from 40 to 84. So this is how you can change the values inside a tuple. You have to first convert it into list, then you have to change the particular index, whatever you needed, and then you have to again convert it to tuple, right? So while converting a tuple to a list and then again converting the list to a tuple, uh, it seems very easy, but it is a very hefty process for your computer, for your hardwares you are using, right? For again and again converting a very long tuple. Suppose here we are using only three values. Suppose you have a tuple with value 3000 values, right? Now, for example, just take a reference, an array, let's take a list of integer values of size 10 to the power 9, 10 to the power 9 takes around 4 GB storage to store. Okay, the int type, if the list only contains integer values and there are total 10 to the power 9 values inside that list, it will take around 4 GB of your RAM storage or your storage to store those data. If you are converting that much 4 GB of list into tuple and then tuple into list, then this conversion will going to take some time. Okay, here it will be executed in 0.0 second, but at that time it may take a few minutes to execute. Okay, so tuples are beneficiary for those work where you have to store some data which cannot be needed to be updated. Okay, which cannot be needed to be updated again and again, right? Now we have dictionaries. See, list, store data, and have index. Which tuple, with tuple, it also stores data and have index. What happens with the dictionary? Store key and data, and there are no index. Okay, the format of storing data in dictionary of type dict is the first value will be your key and the second value is your value, whatever you want to put. Okay, suppose I put key and I will give another string like, and we will give 3, and suppose we will give a boolean value. So this is how dictionary is saved and dictionary is represented. Suppose you want to access this element, right? In list or tuple, we if you want to access these elements, then we will use index. But in dictionary, if you want to access these elements, you will use the key value, and the value associated to that key will be represented. If I will update this key to 20 and then again 20, then this will represent ABC. Okay, suppose I will print 2. See, it will throw an error. Okay, key error 2 is not present inside that dictionary. So if it was a list or tuple, that there is an index 2 and index 2 store this value. Okay, but it is a dictionary and dictionary don't have indices, right? So guys, just let me know if you have any problems till now in tuple or list or any function or methods, anything. Suppose, okay, how to run a for loop on tuple? Just same as list multiple. What will be the name? We have some values here. We have some values here. Print item. Um, multiple. Okay. So my tuple have value 100, 98, and 89. See, 100, 98, and 89. The same as list conversion of tuple to list. Okay. So same as list, we can iterate over tuples using for loop for each loop. Okay. Conversion of list to tuple. So let's go in depth for that one. See, when we provide this value to the marks, what happened? There is some memory. Suppose memory has one which store these values 100, 40, and 50. When we are converting these marks into a list, what it will do? It will create some memory. Memory has two, and what it will do? It will create a list inside that. Okay, not first list. Let's see. Then what it will do? It will copy each and every element from memory has one inside here 100, 40, and 50. And then after completing this process, each and everything will be converted to list. This is how conversion is taking place. Okay. Now from list to tuple, after modifying the value, sorry, after modifying the value, the list will be something like this. And now we are converting to tuple. So what happened? In memory has one, everything will be deleted. Okay. Whatever the previous value, each and every single value will be deleted. Then from starting from scratch, each and every single value from this list will be copied inside here 100, 84, and 50. This is how conversion will be completed. Okay. Now let me know, if you are storing something like 10 to the power 9 values, then these conversion will be surely to take time, right? That's why converting from list to tuple is not a very viable option. Okay. Now let's see how we can modify the value. So suppose in tuple is mutable, not mutable. So we cannot change the values of tuple. In list, if you want to change the value, we use index. In dictionary, if you want to change the value, you use key. So suppose here the key is 20 and I want to change the value from string to suppose a boolean value. Okay. Now let's print my dictionary and see the value is changed. So the same thing you are doing with index, here we can operate on key value pairs. Okay. For accessing, always use dictionary variable with square brackets inside and use key there, right? For accessing value. Now let's see how for loop operates on loop. So suppose if I will do this and print item, see, okay, let's leave that. See, if I'm going to, if I will just use the for each loop as we are using with list and tuple, then it will only print the key values. Okay, only key values. Mhm. only key values. Okay. Now if you want item, my dictionary items. Always forgot to format these. See, the first loop is only printing the key values, and the second loop, by using this dot item function, the myDict will unpack with tuples. It form a tuple. Tuple of what? Key value pair. The key and value pair is unpacked as tuples, and the tuple will be printed here. Okay. Now let's see some other functions. Hmm, Dictval dot items unpack dictionary into tuple and key value pair. Okay, key value pair for key and value dot items. Key value. See, now we can access each and every single element of this tuple separately by using two different variables here. Okay, there is one more thing that method that is can use. That is keys to access only the key. This for loop also access only key, and this for loop also access only key. If you want to get the key value pair, then you have to use the items. Okay, if you want to ignore key, it depends on you. If you want to access only the value, just let me know the output with this for loop. Great. Just let me know the output of this for loop. Just take a guess. Okay, so the what enumerate do? It unpack the dictionary with in the form of index and a form of tuple. Okay, we will get index and tuple, right? See, here is the okay. I didn't use change line here. See, you got index 0 for this tuple, you get index 1 for this tuple, you get index 2 for this tuple. Okay, if you want to separately access the value of tuples, then you can use similar method as zip file, like value 1 and value 2. Then you can access 1 and the string or the value assigned to that key separately. Okay, guys, any question or any doubt till now? After that, we are going to solve some question. We will get to know how to use these tuples and list. Okay, so no problem. Then let's proceed. Suppose I have a list which holds key, okay, and I have a tuple which holds the value. Suppose I have a value of 12, then I have a value of 12.3, then I have a value of a string. Just make sure the length of these two are same, okay? And suppose we have a boolean value. Now we want to construct a dictionary. Okay, we want to construct a dictionary which has key type key from this list, and we have the dictionary have the values from this tuple. Okay, so let's construct a dictionary first. Just let me know, this line will construct a dictionary or a tuple. Oh, we have some lag. Okay, so this line will construct a dictionary or a tuple. What is the data type of my dict variable? Yeah, tuple. So data type of my dict variable is tuple. See, it's a tuple. One more thing, we can print without using print statement in Jupyter, but it is not recommended to do, right? So let's create a dictionary. Okay, let's not create a dictionary. We don't know the values, right? And we have here I for key and value in zip my key, comma, my tuple, and we will give my key value. Mm, print my. Can anyone predict what will be the output of this? What will be the output of this line? So branch team has started. Okay. Hmm. Now it's good, right? So what will be the output of this last line? This one. Guys, just take a guess. Okay, so the here we will get an error, and the error is because what will be the type of my dictionary here? Type of my dictionary. Anyone what will the type? Okay, so the type of my dictionary is none, right? Oh, force the full screen. 1, 2, and so on. No, 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 no. Okay, so for the let me do this. So the type of my dictionary here is none, right? We are initiating my dictionary with none. So there is no memory location provided to my dictionary. If there are no memory location, then where we are putting these all these values, key pair values. See, none type object does not support item assignment. That is the error we are getting, right? So start with this. Now it will print the values, the key value pair. Okay, I think this is clear to all about the none assignment with none. Okay, let's go ahead. So, okay, so we have some problems here, right? See, guys, formatting, there are some necessary formatting you should know. So it is a floating point number. After the decimal, there are so many values, but if you want to print only up to certain decimal number, like you want to print up to 2 decimal points or 3 decimal points, then you can use this dot tool. So just let me do this one second. See, suppose you have a float, my float, okay, of type float, and the value is 134 dot something, and you will print my float. It will print the whole value, right? What is use of none if we are not using it further? Okay, so the use of none, uh, in I think in tomorrow's session or after that, we are going to learn about class and objects. There you will clearly know what is the use of none, right? I know here the use of none is very insignificant in these cases, but when you are learning some data structures like linked list or something else, or if you are implementing some methods or some values in uh, object oriented programming, then you will get to know what is the value of none there. Okay, so one of the very basic use of none is that suppose you have some container, right? You don't know what that container do. Okay, some suppose there is some python file 1, and that container is defined in file 1, and you are using that container inside this file 2. Okay, so you can check that that given container is empty or not. See, container is empty if you are initiating it with none. If you have done some, like suppose if you have done some processing on it like 12 plus 13, then it stores some values and now the container is not empty. Okay, so this is what the basic use of none here. So I think I have mentioned it somewhere about the false values. None or the null character or zero always produce a false value. Okay, okay, so my float, there are so many insignificant digits after the decimal point and we don't want them. So for that we use formatting, and then we put the value, and after that use colon and dot 2f. This is a simple syntax. Okay, dot 2 will signify that only 2 digits will be printed after decimal points. Sorry, not 33. 3 will signify 3 digits. If I will use 33, then it will fill up to 33 by putting zeros, right? Now see, we have these many values 9424 692 up to this. Sorry, Up to this, we have defined the value. After that, whatever is filled, it is filled by Python, right? It can be of any garbage value. Sometimes you will get all with zero, sometimes you will get any random number. Okay, so this is how you can get some significant numbers from floating points. If before decimal I will use suppose 2, then before then because my float type float with values and printf. Okay, so it's not working in Jupyter. Okay, so after decimal point, these values will be used to get the significant value digits. Now let's see if we have an integer of type int. So if you want to get something, some number like this now, there is one easy way to get, right? Just 1e9, 1e9. It will give you the digit 10 to the power 9. Okay, 1e5 4 will give you the digit 10 to the power 4. Now if it will print, if you will print my int, see, okay. So one more thing, and whenever you are using, whenever you are using, suppose 1e4, it will always return a float. Okay, you have to typecast it into int or any other data value as per your need. Okay, so see, there are no comma separated values here like we do traditionally. We separate commas. What type of error? Okay, so for get those commas, we'll simply use formatting my okay, my int and the comma, and here we will get commas, right? Okay, anything you can use, anything to separate those zero decimal values. Like suppose you use a, sorry, you can use a dot operator that you reserve for something else. Suppose you will get a next at the rate sign is not always accessible. Has has is also not accessible. Suppose provider space accessible. Mhm. Okay, just leave it. So for separating the values with comma, we will use this formatting conditions. Okay, now those space and hash characters we will use for string type. Okay, suppose you have a value with type string. Okay, and you want to print my string and a colon. Okay, see, Harsh dot colon is present here, but you want to format this string, right? Suppose you have one more string here, and the value of this string is very long. Okay, and that's good. Ah, guys, just let me know why this error and why this error at this line. Thanks, I was expecting the formatting for string. Yeah, guys. So just here is the error message, and just let me know why this error particular at this time. Just take a guess. So here, what this line do? It will separate the zeros So it will use the international standard, okay, separating three zeros, million and billion form, not 100,000 and 10,000 lakh and 10 lakh. Okay. So what the comma is trying to do, it try to split this string into that million and billion form, but we are using a string, not an integer, right? So cannot specify a comma with s, means it after h it cannot specify the, okay, after h it cannot specify the position to put that comma. Okay, so that's why we are getting the error. So see, after getting this, we get a colon here and we get a colon here. Sometimes what happens, whenever we are creating some program or some menu driven program, we want these columns to be lined in a single place. Okay, line, suppose lined in a single line. For that we always put some space here. Okay, for example, I put this much space, then the colon is here. If I will put some two or three more space, then the colon is here, right? Shortcut to do this is that you can use colon and give the value of spaces you want, the value of spaces you want between the, after printing this variable, and it always, it only works with string. Okay, take care of that, right? Okay, suppose I will give it something around 15, and it's too much, but okay. And if you will give the smaller than sign, then you will get the same, the same space. The smaller than sign is optional, you can give or not. If you give the greater than symbol, then you will get space from the left hand side. For this one, you will get the space from right hand side. Okay, if you want to fill the space with some special characters, then you can do this, and this, wait a minute. Okay, wait. Correct format. Okay, that one. Okay, I'm missing a character. Sorry for that. Okay, not as good. So if you want to put some character between your spaces, then you can put that character here. Suppose I want that character on the left hand side, and it will put the character on the left hand side, 50 spaces. What we are providing 50 spaces, now the characters are filling those area. Now if we will give this, then we will get the character on the right hand side. Okay. Suppose you want your character in middle, not from left, not from right, you want from both sides, then you can use this character to provide spacing from both sides. You will get 50 space from the this side and 50 spaces from this side. Okay, I think formatting is right enough. You will take a look. Okay, this one is important. I will let me do this one. There is a module known as for date time. Sorry, date time. Date time. Date time is a module in Python which is used to pick up the current time and date, okay, of your local system. Okay. Suppose I create a variable today of type date time, and let's take control C, control V dot now. See, uh, last time I told you that by declaring the type of variable, it is not necessary that the variable only stores date time data type, but it can store any type of. See, this is the benefit of using some standard writing procedure. Okay, writing guidelines of Python. Now you can know that today is a variable which is created for storing date time data types, right? So this is what it is helpful for. Uh, let's print today. See how it looks like. See, it is not quite readable, right? It's year, month, then date, then time, then minutes, then second, and then after that also we have it calculates the milliseconds. Each and every time I repeat this, execute this, we'll get the updated seconds. Okay. So to format this one, we will do this. So we have today. Let's define a proper structure for this. %d dot %month dot %year. It will only print the date, day, month, and year. Okay. If you want some hours, so you will put %hour, %minute. Sorry, you have to put dot here. See, my zero. Okay, wait. That is, oh, we are performing it on the same one. Suppose we have function with the and we will provide it with value. Our I think HR is something. No, no, no. I don't recall what will the value. Okay, as you see. See, guys, it provide a good reasonable format. Hey, using these formats, it's not. eh, If you are developing something or using Python, you cannot use these formattings now and then. So I also forward sometimes. You can always use Google to search all that. And one more thing, as we are learning Python, there is something known as Python documentation. Every okay, so let's go for the updated doc. Every coding language has its documentation. Everything is documented here. Okay, you can search about each and everything. Date format. Oh, no. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Listed here. Just go and put different formats in Python using datetime dot now. See, year for year, MH also. H is for hours. Okay. M for minute, and S for second. Okay. And I will always suggest that you should prefer to the documentation. Okay. After this, let's solve some questions. Okay. I think formatting is this much only. Mhm. Guys, I will need some active comments from you guys on this one. So everyone know what is a Fibonacci series? Just yes or no. Fibonacci series. And there is one more thing in for loop, that is range. So, okay. So what this range function do? The basic syntax of range is range start comma end, and also here end is excluded. Okay. So this is how I put it, that whenever you see an ending index or an ending value in any method now, you just consider that ending value is always excluded. Okay, until unless it is stated that ending value is considered, the ending value is always excluded. See, if I use 0 comma 5 here, the ending value is 5, but 5 is excluded. The same thing goes for those list slicing. We are using the ending value, but the ending value is always excluded, right? Okay. So the syntax which I have used for I in range 5, it by default converted to range 0 comma 5. Okay, 0 is by default the starting point. If I will put, suppose I if I will put 10, right, then it won't print anything. Why? Because you cannot start from 10 and by counting you will reach 5. Okay, right? And there is one more thing, that is jump. If I will provide -1 here, then it will print 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Again 5 is excluded, right? So the jump value is -1. Let's print it. Okay, let's format this one. Value I and end with space. Okay. For positive value, it won't print anything. This for loop won't print anything because we cannot start with 10 and then increment by 1 and reach 5 by any chance. Okay, 10, 11, 12, it goes on, won't reach 5. So suppose you have started from 1 and ends with 10, and the jumping value will be 3. Can anyone predict what will be the output of this loop? The output of this loop. Guys, the output of this loop will start from 1, 147, 147, yeah. So 147. Start from 1, then jump 3, then jump 3, then jump 3, and 10 is excluded, then it will end. Okay. So see, it is a length function. Okay, length function is used to take the length of any iterable data types. Okay. So let's use for loop for I in range 0 to list. Okay, just anyone, just let me know what will be the last index of this list, the value of last index of this list. Last index of this list. Let's give it and digit. 4. Okay, right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So the last index is always equal to n minus 1. Okay, just let me know what will be the final value of this I. Okay, this I will start from 0, then 1, then 2. Then what will be the last value of this I? Okay, right. The last value of that I is n minus 1. And the value of n we are calculating here by the length of the list. That is, the value of n is 5. The 5 minus 1 will produce 4. Okay. So this is how we are printing a list using its index. Okay. We have seen the for each. Okay, let me give a line change here. So above we have seen the for each loop. This is how we are accessing the index of a list, right? You know how to calculate the power. Link to this Jupyter notebook, how to operate on them, how to iterate. Okay, so no problem. I will suggest you should practice all these methods on list. Okay, and you have if you have any doubt in them, you may ask in next session. See there are only few. Okay, so there are only few methods are listed here, right? But the list have many multiple methods. And slicing we have covered length concatenation. Oh, it didn't cover concatenation, but let's see what is concatenation. Let's see concatenation. It means if if you have a string, suppose you have a string ABCD, and you will concatenate with H, then it will produce the same thing goes for list. If you have a list of and you will concatenate with, then it will produce. Okay, so in other languages it is that what is this in one say n is equal to n is equal to as is equal to 1 I range n as n. Okay, Mohit, what is this code for? I think this code is for filtering. Okay, so the value of m is 6. Right. Okay, so it's filtering, I think, the power n to the power m. See, for concatenation, we will use, suppose we have list 1, values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and we have a list 2, values 5, 6, 7, 8. You can create new list, and for concatenation, just do this. New list. So it will print you the concatenated list. Same thing goes for string. Same thing goes for dictionary. And see, tuple is not modifiable, so we cannot use concatenation on tuples. And suppose I want to store this one. Can anyone predict the output of this line? This line. Okay. So this time we'll repeat the this particular or this particular list three times. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So this is what concatenation is. We have covered loops, not while loop. Okay, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will repeat this list three times. Right? Covered list, tuples. See, tuples are not mutable, so there are not multiple forms. Okay. We have also covered dictionaries, right? Next is function. Okay, guys, let's conclude for today. If you have, you, I suggest that you should practice these problems. What are the problems? You should practice these problems. And if you have any queries or errors, then we can discuss on the next class, next session. Okay. So let's end this.
Okay, guys, that was all for today's session. Hope it was enlightening for you, and we will continue to provide you with these sessions. Hope you enjoyed this session, and thanks for your support. See you tomorrow.